What if trains never ran on tracks? What if instead of steel rails cutting across the earth, humanity found another way to move millions of people and tons of cargo at lightning speed? Imagine a world where the very backbone of industrial progress, the train, wasn't the iron beast we know today, but something far stranger. Because trains weren't just about transport. They were civilization's veins. They powered empires, connected nations, and shaped cities. Without them, the modern world as we know it might never have existed. But here's the twist. What if history had taken another path? Let's rewind. It's the early 1800s. Steam engines are huffing and puffing, dragging carriages like mechanical monsters. Coal is king, smoke chokes the sky, and suddenly, humanity has a machine that can outrun horses and carry entire towns on wheels. The world is electrified. Now pause for a moment. What if steam never won? Picture this. Inventors decide that steam is too dirty, too clumsy. Instead, imagine giant wind-powered rail sleds cutting across open plains, sails catching gusts like ships on land. Would America have been built not on iron rails, but on endless lines of wooden runways? Could cities have grown around colossal wind stations instead of rail hubs? Fast forward to the late 1800s. Electricity enters the stage. In our world, it transformed trains into sleek machines humming quietly across wires. But what if electricity had been weaponized differently? What if magnetic levitation had been discovered a century earlier? By the time of the First World War, armies might not have relied on muddy trenches and horse-drawn carts, but on silent floating trains, gliding troops and supplies across Europe. Would wars have ended faster or become far deadlier? Now let's twist the timeline again. The mid-20th century arrives, and instead of fossil fuels dominating, imagine the atomic age changing trains. Nuclear locomotives, giant glowing serpents of steel, crossing continents without ever needing to refuel. Entire railways might have become restricted zones of radiation. Cities could have depended on nuclear trains for both power and transportation. What if an accident derailed not just a train, but an entire region's future? And here's where it gets chilling. Today we know trains as the quiet heroes of climate-friendly travel. Japan's Shinkansen, Europe's high-speed rails, China's magnetic levitation marvels. But what if this never happened? What if airplanes became the sole kings of travel and trains were abandoned after the 1950s? Our cities might not sprawl along rail lines. Small towns would have vanished. Millions of people would never have had the chance to move, trade, or thrive. The modern world would look like a giant patchwork of isolated hubs, connected only by the sky. But here's the real kicker. What if the next stage of trains isn't rails at all? Imagine vacuum tubes stretching across continents, trains shooting through them at near the speed of sound. No friction, no limits. A trip from New York to Los Angeles in just under an hour. What would that mean for nations, for economies, for the very idea of distance? Would borders even matter when you could cross a continent in the time it takes to watch a movie? Because here's the truth. The story of trains isn't just about machines. It's about us. Trains shaped how we live, how we fight, how we dream. And every what if is a glimpse into a parallel world. One where a single choice in technology could have rewritten human history. So next time you see a train thunder past, think about it. What if it had been different?